Hello everyone, Dr. Mandell here. Today, I'm going to share something most people never hear from their doctor, their trainer, or their nutritionist. If you want to build muscle faster, protect your strength as you age, and keep your metabolism firing all day long, you need to stop relying solely on vitamin D supplements and start focusing on 2 specific vitamins you can add to your breakfast that switch your muscle-building machinery on. These vitamins work with vitamin D inside your muscles. They help your body absorb nutrients better. They activate key growth pathways. And the best part is, they come from real foods you can easily add to your morning routine. Let's get right into it. Most people spend their entire lives believing that muscles are built in the gym, that strength comes from doing more reps, lifting heavier weights, or pushing harder than the person next to them. But the truth is far more shocking. The real trigger for muscle growth, the hidden spark that determines whether your body gets stronger or weaker as you age, is something almost no one talks about. It's not protein. It's not testosterone. It's not even vitamin D, despite all the hype around it. It's a vitamin most people have never even heard of, yet it silently controls how your muscle fibers fire, how fast they recover, and how strong they can become. This nutrient is vitamin K2, and if you're not consuming enough of it, your muscle machinery is running with the brakes on. Scientists call vitamin K2 the director, because while vitamin D helps your body absorb calcium, K2 decides where that calcium goes. And here's the part that will shock most people watching this video. Without K2, calcium doesn't always enter your bones or your muscles. Instead, it can get stuck in your soft tissues, areas it was never meant to be. Studies published in journals like Thrombosis and Hemostasis reveal that up to 97% of adults may not be getting enough K2 for their muscles and bones to work at peak efficiency. 97%. That means almost every person watching this right now could be missing a key nutrient that determines how powerful they feel every single day. Inside your muscles, calcium acts like an electrical switch. One signal triggers the muscle to contract, another signal releases it. This cycle plays out millions of times during a single workout, and even more throughout the day as you walk, push, lift, and move. But this entire system collapses when K2 is missing. Without K2, your muscles may receive weak signals. They contract with less force. They fatigue faster. They recover slower. And over time, the body begins replacing strong, functional tissue with weaker, fatty fibers, a condition known as sarcopenia, which affects nearly 1 out of every 3 adults over 60. Not because they stopped exercising, not because they stopped trying, but because their cells weren't getting the nutrients required to keep muscle strong. One of the most eye-opening studies came out of Japan, where researchers examined older adults who consumed higher levels of vitamin K2. The results were remarkable. These adults demonstrated stronger muscle contractions, better balance, fewer falls, and a significantly higher ability to perform daily tasks. Their muscles behaved younger, sometimes decades younger, simply because they were giving their bodies more of the nutrient responsible for activating muscle proteins. Other research shows that vitamin K2 helps support mitochondrial function, the energy factories inside each muscle cell. When mitochondria operate more efficiently, your muscles produce more power with less effort, giving you greater strength, stamina, and endurance without changing anything in your training routine. But what makes K2 even more fascinating is its direct relationship with vitamin D. Millions of people take vitamin D supplements believing they're protecting their bones, boosting immunity, or helping muscle performance. But without K2, vitamin D can actually cause more calcium to circulate in the bloodstream, with nowhere to go. This is why researchers in nutrients emphasize that vitamin D and vitamin K2 should be consumed together. They're partners. Vitamin D loads the truck, but K2 drives it to the correct destination. Without K2, the body's entire mineral transport system loses control. Now imagine what happens inside your body when both nutrients are present in the right amounts. Calcium gets delivered straight to your bones where it strengthens your foundation. It enters your teeth, reinforcing enamel. And most important for this video, it enters your muscle cells where it strengthens contraction, supports faster recovery, and helps maintain lean tissue even as you age. Your muscles become more responsive, more energized, more efficient. Every step feels lighter, every movement smoother, every workout more powerful. This is why some scientists refer to K2 as a muscle activation nutrient. It doesn't build muscle on its own, but without it, your body loses the ability to activate the muscle you already have. And here's the part nearly no one realizes. Vitamin K2 is extremely rare in the modern diet. It was once abundant in foods from animals raised on natural grasses, fermented foods, and traditional preparations our ancestors relied on. But today, with industrial farming and processed diets, most people barely get trace amounts. Eggs from grain-fed chickens contain far less K2 than eggs from pasture-raised birds. Cheese from factory farms has a fraction of the K2 found in traditionally aged cheeses, and fermented foods, one of the richest natural sources, are almost completely missing from most people's daily meals. As a result, the average adult gets less than 30% of the K2 their muscles need to function at full capacity. That means millions of people are waking up tired, walking around with weak legs, struggling during workouts, feeling stiffness or poor recovery, and thinking it's just part of getting older. But these changes are not inevitable. They are often nutritional, cellular, correctable. Your muscles may not be fading because of your age. They may be fading because they're missing a nutrient required to turn calcium into strength. When researchers studied populations that consumed higher levels of K2, like the Dutch and Japanese, they found dramatically lower rates of cardiovascular calcification, stronger bones, and better overall physical performance. These people weren't lifting weights for hours every day. Many weren't taking supplements at all. They were simply eating foods naturally rich in K2, eggs, grass-fed butter, aged cheeses, fermented soy like natto, and their bodies responded by staying stronger, more balanced, and more mobile well into their 70s, 80s, and 90s. Now think about what that means for you. Think about the potential strength you may not be using right now. Think about the muscle fibers inside your body waiting for the signal to activate, to fire, to grow. What would your life look like if your muscles responded faster, if your legs felt more stable, if you could climb stairs with ease, carry groceries without strain, move through your day with confidence and power? None of this requires lifting more weight or spending hours in the gym. Sometimes it starts with giving your cells the one nutrient that most people overlook every single day. Your body was built to be strong. It was designed to maintain muscle far beyond middle age. The problem is that modern diets don't support the internal chemistry required to keep that strength alive. Vitamin K2 is one of the missing links. And once you understand its role, once you supply your body with the foods that contain it, you unlock the natural blueprint your muscles were always meant to follow. Strength is not just built in the gym, it's activated at the cellular level. And K2 is the key that turns that activation on. Most people think muscle loss happens slowly, quietly, like a natural part of aging that you simply have to accept. But hidden inside your bloodstream, inside your nerves, and inside the very DNA of your muscle fibers, there is a silent factor far more powerful than most people ever realize. It's not protein, it's not exercise, it's not even hormones. It's vitamin B12, the nutrient that scientists call the oxygen switch, because without it, your muscles lose their ability to produce energy, grow stronger, or even function at their full capacity. And the shocking part is this: up to 40% of adults, including younger people, are already B12 deficient and don't even know it. They feel tired, weak, dizzy, slow to recover, or mentally foggy, yet they never connect it to the vitamin that determines whether every muscle fiber in their body is alive or starving. Inside each muscle cell, there are tiny engines called mitochondria, microscopic power generators that decide whether you feel strong or exhausted, powerful or frail. These mitochondria need B12 to transform the food you eat into pure, usable energy. Without B12, these engines malfunction. They slow down. They burn fuel less efficiently, and your muscles respond the only way they can. They weaken, they shrink, they fatigue faster than they should. You may feel like you're pushing harder, exercising more, eating better, but inside your cells, the electrical system is flickering. Not because of your age, not because you're out of shape, but because your muscles are missing one of the nutrients they rely on every single second of the day. Researchers from Harvard discovered that B12 is essential for forming red blood cells, the cells that transport oxygen to your muscles. And without oxygen, your muscle fibers choke, they suffocate, they lose their ability to repair the microscopic tears that occur after exercise. The result is slower recovery, reduced stamina, and a frustrating feeling that no matter how much you try, your strength is slipping away. Scientists estimate that a deficiency in B12 can reduce oxygen delivery to muscles by up to 30%. Imagine walking around every day with 1/3 of your energy supply missing. That's what millions of people unknowingly experience. But the story goes even deeper. Vitamin B12 also controls the health of your myelin sheath, the protective coating around your nerves. These nerves are what allow your muscles to fire. They send signals telling your muscles when to contract, how strongly to contract, and how quickly to respond. Without adequate B12, these nerve signals slow down. Your reaction time drops. Your coordination declines. Your muscles don't receive a strong enough electrical impulse to work efficiently. Many people notice this as heaviness in their legs when climbing stairs, a weak grip when holding objects, or an unsettling sense that they're losing strength without knowing why. Studies published in Nutrients show that low B12 levels are strongly linked to frailty, loss of balance, and reduced mobility, especially in adults over 50. But this isn't simply a problem for older people. Even younger adults with diets low in animal foods, high-stress lifestyles, digestive issues, or regular use of medications like metformin or acid reducers can become deficient. And because B12 deficiency mimics symptoms of aging, millions of people assume their weakness, fatigue, or brain fog is normal, when in reality their cells are starving for a nutrient that should be abundant. Scientists studying muscle regeneration discovered something extraordinary. B12 directly supports the process of muscle protein synthesis. This means that even if you eat plenty of protein, your body can't turn that protein into new muscle fibers efficiently without B12. It's like trying to build a house without nails. You have the wood, the cement, the tools, but you don't have the one crucial piece that holds everything together. This is why so many people struggle to build muscle, even when they're eating well or going to the gym. The missing link is not effort, it's chemistry, and that chemistry demands B12. When researchers measured B12 levels in athletes, they found that those with optimal levels had higher endurance, faster recovery, stronger muscle contractions, and greater overall performance. Not because they trained harder, but because their cells were functioning at their full biological potential. Your muscles are not limited by your willpower, they are limited by your biochemistry, and B12 is one of the nutrients your biochemistry depends on most. But here's the part almost no one talks about. B12 is one of the only vitamins your body cannot produce on its own. You must get it from food. Yet modern diets make this increasingly difficult. Many of the foods richest in B12, like eggs, fish, poultry, and dairy, are eaten less frequently than they were decades ago. Plant-based eaters, unless they consume fortified foods, often get almost zero B12. And even people who eat a balanced diet may absorb far less than they think due to poor gut health, low stomach acid, or medications that block nutrient absorption. The result? A slow, steady decline in muscle strength that feels like aging, but isn't. A chronic fatigue that feels like lack of sleep, but isn't. A weakness in the legs that feels like inactivity, but is really the quiet erosion of your body's ability to make energy. B12 deficiency doesn't happen overnight. It sneaks up on you, it builds gradually, and by the time symptoms appear, your muscles may have already adapted to operating in a low-energy state. But here's the good news. When you restore B12, the effects can be transformative. Oxygen delivery improves, nerve signals strengthen, your mitochondria kick back into gear, producing the energy your muscles have been craving. People often describe the change as waking up. Their legs feel lighter, their strength returns, their workouts improve, even their mood lifts because B12 influences neurotransmitters that control motivation and focus. Imagine your muscles being able to fire with full power again. Imagine walking without fatigue. Imagine feeling the energy you haven't felt in years. That's what happens when your cells finally receive the B12 they need to function the way nature intended. Strength is not just a matter of effort. It's chemistry, biology, and fuel. And B12 is one of the most powerful fuels your muscles will ever use. Your body is not failing you. It is waiting for the nutrients that allow it to thrive. And B12 is one of the most important pieces of that puzzle. Most people think vitamins work alone, like little isolated ingredients that each do their own job inside the body. But biology doesn't work that way. The human body is a symphony, millions of reactions firing together, billions of cells communicating at every moment, every system depending on another to survive. And inside that hidden world, There is a partnership so powerful that scientists are only now beginning to understand its impact on muscle strength, performance, and aging. A partnership between two vitamins that don't just support your muscles, they activate them. Vitamin K2 and vitamin B12. Two nutrients that most people overlook, two nutrients that most people don't get enough of. Two nutrients that, when consumed together, ignite a biological chain reaction that determines how strong you feel, how fast you recover, and how youthful your muscles stay as the years go by. Inside your muscle fibers, strength is built through communication. Electrical impulses sent from nerves, oxygen delivered through blood, and calcium signaling that tells the muscle to contract. Vitamin B12 controls the electrical system, vitamin K2 controls the calcium signaling, and without either one, the system flickers. But when both are present, something remarkable happens. The nerves fire more efficiently, the muscles contract more powerfully, the mitochondria produce more usable energy, and the oxygen your cells receive is no longer wasted. It's converted into real strength. Researchers studying the aging process discovered something startling. Muscle decline rarely happens because the muscle tissue itself is old. Instead, the decline begins when the systems around the muscle, nerve conduction, oxygen delivery, mineral transport, start breaking down. And those systems depend heavily on vitamins K2 and B12. When B12 levels drop, nerve function slows. When K2 is missing, calcium gets misdirected. And when both are low at the same time, the body loses the ability to coordinate muscle contraction with muscle energy. Strength becomes inconsistent. Power fades. Fatigue creeps in. Not because the muscle isn't trying, but because the fuel lines feeding it have collapsed. Scientists from the University of Utrecht found that individuals with higher levels of vitamin K2 showed better physical performance and stronger muscle function, particularly in older adults. At the same time, studies from Tufts and Harvard revealed that adults low in B12 had poorer balance, weaker muscle function, and significantly lower stamina. Separately, each of these nutrients influences strength. But when you look at how they work together at the cellular level, you see a completely different picture. The calcium signals that trigger muscle contraction rely on nervous system messages. Those messages require B12. The contraction itself requires properly directed calcium. That depends on K2. One controls the switch, the other directs the wiring. Without both working together, the system weakens from the inside out. Imagine your muscles as a high-performance engine. B12 is the spark plug, igniting the energy production cycle, firing every electrical signal, powering every contraction. K2 is the alignment system, making sure fuel and minerals go where they are supposed to, making sure the engine doesn't clog, making sure every movement is clean, powerful, and precise. When the spark plug fires but the alignment is broken, you get uneven power, fatigue, weakness, poor recovery. When alignment is perfect but the spark is missing, the engine can't produce enough force, your muscles feel heavy, slow, unresponsive. But when both are functioning at full capacity, the engine comes alive. Power increases, movement feels easier, workouts feel smoother, everyday tasks become lighter. Even your posture improves because your stabilizing muscles finally have the fuel and activation they've been missing. The body doesn't build muscle only in the gym. It builds muscle through recovery, through nutrients delivered at the right time, in the right amounts, with the right partners. Vitamin B12 helps your red blood cells deliver oxygen to the muscle fibers during this recovery process. Vitamin K2 helps ensure that the calcium needed for protein synthesis and muscle contraction ends up inside the muscle cells, not stuck in arteries or soft tissues. The more effectively these nutrients work together, the more efficiently your muscle fibers repair themselves. This is why people who often feel weak after climbing stairs, or exhausted after carrying groceries, or shaky after simple movements might not be lacking exercise. Their cells may be lacking coordination. Biochemical coordination, nutrient coordination, the kind that K2 and B12 provide together. Inside the mitochondria, where energy is produced, vitamin B12 acts like a molecular assistant, helping enzymes convert nutrients into ATP, the fuel your muscles burn with every contraction. Vitamin K2 plays a quieter but equally critical role, supporting mitochondrial efficiency and helping keep oxidative stress low so that energy production remains stable and powerful. Mitochondria powered by B12 produce energy. Mitochondria supported by K2 produce energy efficiently. When both nutrients are present, the muscle can generate sustained, reliable strength instead of quick bursts followed by fatigue. Think about how your body feels on your strongest days, the days when you move with confidence, when your legs respond quickly, when you feel grounded, balanced, in control. That feeling isn't random, it's chemistry, it's biology. It's the moment your nerves, mitochondria, muscles, and minerals are working together in harmony. And that harmony becomes dramatically more powerful when vitamin K2 and B12 are present in the right amounts. Modern diets have disconnected people from that harmony. Highly processed foods lack K2, irregular eating patterns reduce B12 intake, stress and medications interfere with absorption, and the result is a population walking around with unexplained weakness, reduced stamina, and muscles that are capable of so much more than they're currently able to express. The human body was built for strength. It was engineered for movement. It was designed to stay powerful far into later decades of life. But it can't do that when critical nutrients are missing. When you give your muscles both B12 and K2 consistently, especially in the morning when your metabolism is waking up, your body begins to recalibrate. Your cells begin repairing, your nerves fire more efficiently, your calcium signals strengthen, and suddenly, tasks that once felt difficult begin to feel manageable again. Your muscles were never gone. They were waiting for the chemistry to be restored. Strength is not just what you do with your body. Strength is what your cells are capable of. And when vitamin K2 and B12 work together, they unlock a version of your strength that many people haven't felt in years.